Hey everyone, welcome back to Living in YYC. Mark and Natalie Newstater with eXp Realty, and in today's video, if you're like a lot of people, the term DIY may send shivers down your spine. And to be honest, there are some projects that are best left to the professionals. So stick around for this whole video as we're going to give you some things to consider. Welcome back to Living in YYC, everyone. Mark and Natalie Newstater with eXp Realty, and we help people make smooth moves to Calgary, in Calgary, buying, selling. We've done it all ourselves personally.
Absolutely.
And so I've actually moved here a long time ago, but well, that's what we do. So if that's you, click that link in the description below, book into our calendar. We'd love to chat with you and help you make a move here in Calgary. So let's get to the topic of today's video, which is which projects should be DIY or potentially DIY, and which ones you should definitely leave to the professionals. There's one, I think that's a bit of a 50-50, but we're gonna get to that towards the end of the video. First off, before you do anything, check your city rules, your City of Calgary website. We can post a link down below, it's calgary.ca, and make sure that you don't need a permit for whatever work you're going to be doing. That's generally going to apply to electrical, plumbing, anything structural if you're moving a wall, but it also can apply to things like decks.
Yes.
Right? So you got to be really careful. Consult the professional. We have a great list of resources that we can provide to you, the professionals in the room that are going to help you with that renovation, that DIY. Should it be DIY? Whatever it might be, we've got a list for you.
Second, you want to determine how much the project is going to cost and to see if it fits within your budget. I can't believe how many times clients I've seen start a DIY project and then it balloons way beyond what they thought. And really, a lot of times they could have saved money had they actually let a professional do it.
Okay, I've got an epic story I've got to tell right here. So back in the day, I was developing my basement. Part of it had been done by the builder, which was actually great. They did a bedroom and a bathroom. So when we had out-of-town guests, I'm from Manitoba, they had an attached bathroom. It was great, but I wanted to do the rest. It was just a rec room.
Yep.
No big deal.
How hard can it be?
How hard can it be? So I get the drywall and I thought, well, there's no way I'm paying somebody $500 to hang drywall. Well, I nearly killed myself hanging drywall in that stairwell. And when we finally had the texturing company come in to do the mudding and taping and sealing texturing, they said, well, you saved yourself a couple $100, not even 500. And now we're going to charge you $1,500 to fix your mistakes. So, you know, the old penny wise, pound poor, that definitely applied to me. That was the last time I ever touched any kind of drywall repair. So consideration number 3 is really determining the scope of the work involved. We all watch HGTV. We love the Brian Baumlers and guys like that within the space of an hour transform this space, or the Property Brothers or whoever it might be. Things can and will go wrong. If you've ever watched Love It or List It Vancouver,
They always go over budget every single time. It's a catastrophic thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, so you really have to figure that out and determine, you know, what is your time worth? Like, is it worth you hiring this out?
Yeah.
Because you know things will go wrong, and are you the right person to fix them? Because as real estate agents, when we come into a home and we ask people, was it professionally done or did you do it yourself? It does affect your value.
Yes.
That's the reality of it. So if you're going to do it yourself, we're going to get to that in a second here.
And as someone who's built a cottage from scratch, highly recommend hiring someone. I spent every summer for 9 years trying to finish the thing. Anyway, it was a lot.
All right, so let's now get to the list of 3 DIY friendly projects. So let's start with these 2 first, and we're going to get to that one on the last. So I'm going to start first with landscaping. As somebody that has done landscaping, I think since I was about 5 years old, and back in Manitoba, we had a huge, you know, you had bigger yards in the small town I'm from. And I do remember doing a lot of landscaping. So I have a lot of experience with laying sod, how to, water it and make sure it's really seeded properly.
Yeah.
So I do have experience with that. It's just a matter of now, being at 55 years of age, do I want to have the backaches and things like that? So, but landscaping generally It's grunt labor. If you know how to do it, it's something I definitely would recommend you DIY. And then the second one would be hardware. And I think what they're talking about in this article is like door hardware and things
Door
like that.
hardware, cabinet hardware, all that kind of stuff. That really can make a huge difference in the look of any space if you just update that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like in our kitchen here, and if we'll put a link to the video we did on all the renovations we've done to our home up here, somewhere there. And we changed the cabinet hardware because it was chrome. We changed out the plumbing fixtures to black from chrome. That was done by a plumber. Although I could have done it, I had a plumber do it because they were here already doing some other stuff. So want to get to this one now. This one's going to be contentious. Painting.
Yes.
So Natalie is a really, really good painter. And Natalie, you take this one because you will have some thoughts.
It depends on what you're painting. I would never do our 2-story stairwell. That is terrifying. I'm not going to do it. I think the hardest part is when you're trying to fix the mistakes that other people have done. So in our house, for example, someone had painted it before we moved in, but there are drips, there are marks, there's on the ceiling, you can see the paint on there, you can see the old paint that they were covering up that was never properly dealt with. So I have spent painstaking hours with a tiny little paintbrush trying to fix all the things around the edge of the ceiling where the wall meets. If you feel confident enough to do it. But the other thing I would highly recommend if you are doing it by yourself, get a good paint. So I'm talking Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, something like that. Tend to have really good coverage, and it also does depend on the color. If you're going something like a red, which don't do that, it's angry, it can take coats and coats to put it on, and you'll constantly see streaks. So it's those really deep colors that sometimes just don't go on as nice. So
yeah, well, and I would add, on the we're not sponsored by Benjamin Moore, but that Benjamin Moore Aura paint. So I'm not a great painter. I'm an okay painter. And when we repainted your master bedroom in your old home in Oak Ridge, I was actually shocked because I was very careful. When you're rolling, you do it in a kind of a zebra pattern.
The
W.
Yeah.
And it's dried fantastic.
Yeah.
And that was a one coat because we went from a little bit lighter color to the Revere Pewter, which is like a grayish.
It's grayish.
Yeah. So with painting, I think it really depends on the project. Just be careful because if you're thinking I'm going to paint my home to sell it, call us because we have a fantastic Red Seal painting contractor, DC Contracting. They do an unbelievable job, and you're probably going to get the money out of it anyway. But if you don't, you may not get money out of it, and you're going to lose money because it looks sloppy.
Yeah.
So painting is definitely, I think, a project by project one.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, here are the 3 projects to absolutely, I would say, almost 100% outsource. There would be a couple of things here. So number 1 is plumbing.
Yeah. Number 2 is electrical.
Well, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Now, I would just say about electrical, I know my electrical to some degree. I've only shocked myself once when we were putting up the ceiling fans.
Yeah.
Like a ceiling fan is a good, but that's a good example, right?
Absolutely.
Like, hey, you're just replacing the fan that was there, take a picture of where the wires are. But anyway, so that's a longer story. But overall, hiring an electrical contractor is never a bad idea. There might be a few little things if you're replacing a switch, but obviously flip the breakers off. Full disclaimer here, we are accepting no responsibility if you get zapped and didn't hire a professional. But there are a few little things that I would consider doing, like maybe switching out, like we have a humidity sensor in the basement bathroom, things like that. So yeah,
pretty straightforward.
Exactly. If you're just switching like for like, once you're making any changes, that's what I typically will call in one of our electrical contractors that we use. And then plumbing, we talked a little bit about that, but plumbing, I will do a few little things, right?
Yeah, but that tends to be one, nobody wants water in their house.
No.
Ever.
No.
Ever. And that's a big one, right? Like, especially if you're doing a major renovation, you don't want to spend all of that money and try and do it yourself, and then a leak springs, and then boom. I'll give you a quick example. My dad built a house out in Golden, a big log house, gorgeous place. He had a junior, like brand new plumber come in because he was trying to save some money. He did a main floor laundry, and he had just had the entire basement done. So 9-foot ceilings, all the drywall was done, all the baseboards were done. Well, this kid did not seal the laundry sink properly.
Oh,
And it literally leaked overnight, all night. The whole basement had to be ripped out. A bunch of the framing had to be, redone and doubled up because it was just such a hot mess. He had about 1.5 feet of water in his basement. So, and from what we know with the floods in 2013, just get her done right.
yeah, just get it done right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the overarching theme here. If your budget allows it, hire a professional
Yeah.
with these plumbing, electrical, and then roofing. That's a no-brainer. I do not like getting up on roofs.
No.
There's no question. Now, one thing I will point out here is a little mini bonus tip. One of the great things is some things that we discover when we're getting a home inspection done for a buyer is there's little nail pops, there's places missing
Yeah.
the little seal. So get a roofing tune-up done. Far less expensive than replacing your roof. They're just, I think, a few $100s depending on the roofing company. So get a little tune-up done. We're going to need to get one of those done here soon as well. But there you go. Those are the items, the projects that you should DIY. So let's recap it one more time. Painting depends on how.
9 times out of 10, you can do it. But
Yeah, 9 times out of 10. If you're doing it to sell your home,
Yeah.
I'd say hire a professional.
Yeah.
Landscaping, absolutely. And now I would caveat that with, I don't mean irrigation systems. Leave that to a professional 100%.
Yeah.
And any hardware around the home, cabinet pulls, doors, things like door handles.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you can do that yourself. And then the outsourced ones, plumbing, electrical, and roofing. I think those are no-brainers. There's little pockets inside of, for sure, plumbing and electrical that you may tackle yourself. But overall, if you have questions about those, if you want our list of resources of people that we highly recommend, they are vetted, they have worked with us, they've worked with our clients, the clients love them. Just reach out, shoot us a text at 825-256-5007, and we're happy to provide those to you. And so with that, thanks so much for watching the video. If you have questions about moving in Calgary to Calgary, make sure you reach out as well, book a call in our appointment. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.